Hello and welcome to the Daily Break Podcast, episode 37 for the week of October 18th, 2015. I'm your host, James Lee. With me today, we have Ravenstorm Barkin.
Hi there.
And Taylor Kelsey.
Hello.
Another week, we are, again, minimizing our news topics and more talking about just things in general. Just discussing things. We're talking less about things. No. We're less talking to you. No. Yes,
No,
we're still talking to you.
We're still talking to you.
We're going
but
to do
also
the Dora the
talking to each
Explorer thing where we say a sentence and then wait for 5 seconds until you respond so we can have more of a natural conversation.
Where
with
is the
listener.
point? Do you see the
Bueno.
point?
So this week was kind of interesting. Well, first of all, how are you guys? Are you guys doing okay? How's your guys' week been?
Nice chill weekend.
Same.
Feeling good.
Yeah.
Taylor and I shared part of that weekend.
I saw computer troubles brings everything
Yes.
together.
Mm-hmm.
My sister got me a temple shirt for my birthday.
Oh,
So
how nice of her.
I'm wearing a temple
I was going to
shirt.
say, hey, did you drive all the way back just to get that?
No, my roommate went home.
Is
this
it the same
weekend.
guy that gave me the...
Yes, the same guy.
God, that guy came clutch
Yeah.
For
for
sure.
everyone. He's just a courier.
Yeah, you should have checked, dude. Data courier, man. It's
Who's
my
this?
it's my dream cyberpunk job.
I mentioned that when it happened.
Anyways, speaking of things from the future, self-driving cars are from the future, and this week I believe some footage has been shown of Tesla's self-driving cars.
Tesla has a self-driving car now, do they?
Well, I think it's just software built into their Model S, Model X, etc.
Mhm.
Oh, by the way, funny thing. I saw an article from The Verge, and they were complaining about how the Tesla Model S is like looking outdated.
Oh, okay.
Like,
What?
no, I don't.
Tesla is the future in every way.
And they're saying that the Model S looks outdated already. Because
They're just like way too close to the industry to say that.
I think so.
Go
Wait,
on.
who's saying this?
The Verge.
The Verge.
I think that they just...
The Verge is too far out.
There's a lot in it there's a lot of Verge content. I mean, anyone who's writing about whether or not a car looks outdated is obviously grasping for journalistic material.
Yeah.
Especially with this car. Everything to choose. This car looks like the most modern thing in the world.
Like
Yep.
I feel like tech reviewers, tech journalists in general, like just become super jaded and super petty very, very quickly.
Like, do you want it to have sharp edges and neon green on it and say "Elite Hacksaw"?
I mean, it's
How much?
That's the Razor self-driving car.
Yeah. That's terrible.
it's not it's not their fault particularly, because they're just, these companies always want to show off their latest and greatest, and if you become exposed to the latest and greatest like all the time,
Yeah.
it's hard to go back. The funny thing that popped out to me was that the average American changes their car every 6 to 8 years.
Hmm.
I don't like. My mom still drives her '99 Camry.
Yeah.
My roommate drives an '87 Nissan.
At our age, it's not a good statistic because we get whatever we can and we can't afford anything else.
That's
So,
fair. But my parents are all. My mom driving
Yeah.
a '99 Camry. So, it also has. That Camry also is pretty reliable. So,
Toyota.
for a trio. Yeah, Toyota.
This week's episode is sponsored by Toyota.
Also Tesla and whoever is competing with The Verge.
Like we said, it was a big week. We
Yeah.
got a lot of sponsors.
Says get Wired and Ars Technica on the phone. We need payment.
So self-driving cars are a really interesting thing because they've only popped up in the past few years, and actually relevant life story. Last year, not last year. 3 months ago. No, 4 months ago, maybe.
You were hit by a car.
I was not hit. That was a few years ago. I had a lot of accidents, I guess, that cause injuries. I fell off my longboard last week. That wasn't fun.
You're not sure you're part of the movie Final Destination?
No, I'm part of that. It's that other one, the one where like it's a great conspiracy where everyone controls somebody controls everything you do, and then like that person lifts a block. I just remember seeing the trailer, and then like I forget what it was, and then like they lift a block in the ground and then someone trips. I forget what it was. That sounds very vague, I know, but I don't. Anyways.
Googling movie where a guy lifts a block in the ground and someone trips.
So one of the what was I talking about? The conspiracy theory thing. Oh yeah, no. 4 months ago, about 4 months ago, I was like
The
looking
Darkest
for a
Hour?
job. No, not quite.
Knowing?
Not quite. It was something about like it's like the something group or the something society. I don't know. It was like I don't know. It was sounded very like very conspiracy. Or no, it sounded very bureaucratic, and then it turns out it's a conspiracy. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, so like 5 months ago, I was looking for a job because I was jobless, and my brother emailed me it was like a recruiter's email, like for jobs, and they're like asking like, hey, we want you to do this. And what caught my eye was that it was a independent contractor, but they were working with Google to develop their self-driving cars. And basically your job was to get on a little bicycle and kind of try to get hit by this self-driving car.
Oh, dude, that's so hard. That sounds amazing.
I would be honored to be hit by a self-driving car.
Now that is cyberpunk future.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
you love technology being better than you.
Except it was like this is like in the summer and it's out in the heat. It's in
Cupertino?
It's by Merced actually. So
Oh, cool.
yes. So it's very hot, and you're riding your bike in the heat and trying to get hit by a car. It was cool though. I did
much
did
did they pay
apply.
you?
I did try to apply. I think it was like $10 to $15 an hour. I think it was 15.
Gotta be 15 side if you're literally trying to injure yourself as a job.
That's true. Yeah, I mean that's more than I get paid. So.
Dude, okay, so I need to know something. I need
What?
you to clarify something for me.
What is it?
I thought that up until now, the only thing that a self-driving car, the only reason it could self-drive is because it had a gamut of sensors that would, provide the computer information and tell it how to steer and where to go, etc. It's not just, collision sensors. It's more than that. And
Like there's cameras and IR and all that. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. How did Tesla? It's not just something you said. It's just a software piece, but I don't think that's
I think
that's even
I think
remotely possible.
I think the self-driving hardware, the sensors, the cameras, whatever, were probably embedded into the. I'm pretty sure it's in the Model X, and I think you could get your Model S outfitted with this hardware. So it's
Awesome.
So I think it is. I don't think it's built in like on all your on all Model S's, but I think it's an option.
Fucking Hawkwing Model X. Hawkwing. Is that the term they use?
I forget. Falcon. I think it's Falcon doors. I think it's Falcon doors. A different bird. The
Waiting
interesting
for
thing about the
Dodo
Model X,
feed.
the Dodo feet.
Dodo.
Dodo feet. Oh, that's a cage, right? It's like a roll cage, really.
I need to invest in Tesla like right now. I need to. I just wish I had like enough to buy one share.
One share.
How
How
much
much
is
is
a
it a
sh-
share?
See.
But the interesting thing about the Model X is that while Ravenstorm's looking up financial data, is that it accelerates as fast as a Porsche Model 911, which is really funny considering the size of it, because that Model X is an SUV, and it's really funny to see an SUV like outperform a small, tiny sports car. But anyways, so the self-driving car thing is it's like people like I was watching that video. Have you watched that video? Have you guys seen it?
Nope.
Okay, because like the person who was in the car obviously had zero trust in the car to self-drive.
Nice.
Like they kept trying to brake, and they're like super nervous, like behind the wheels, like up, it's turning now, up, it's just signaling, up, it's braking, and the guy was just super nervous. And this wasn't like on the freeway or anything either. This was like in downtown. It was like in Manhattan or whatever, and like. And they were going pretty slow speeds, but he was still
Not having it.
Yeah, still not having it. And in fairness, the Model X did do some pretty complex maneuvering, like trying to get into traffic without, like kind of squeezing into that spot in traffic and the next like switching lanes and all that.
Nice.
Probably a lot of things that more timid drivers would definitely not do. So
Right.
it's really interesting to see like how this software develops. But like with
The stock climbed from 221 this morning to currently 227.
not bad, not bad. Ooh, I could afford that.
Get it. Do it.
I'm thinking about
Please.
that. Yeah.
Of all the things that's worth investing $200 in, Tesla is one of them.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I'll definitely see someone to do something about it.
You got to sell your knife, dude.
Sell my
Invest
CS:GO
in something
knife.
real.
Yeah, I think. Well, technically, it isn't tangible physically either, but it's
True,
definitely,
but
it's
one,
definitely more valuable.
one will give you... Yeah.
Definitely valuable. And definitely more practical. So with like, do you think that self-driving cars are the future? Because, I mean, let's be clear that the car accidents are like one of the top killers in the United States, right?
Right. Right.
Up there with heart disease, heart attacks, whatever, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Judging based on that one video, heart attacks are gonna go pretty high up with the.
Yeah, I know, right? I didn't die, and then you get a heart attack from the disbelief. So considering like those, I mean, you could pull the statistics you want, but like obviously car accidents are really big. And do you think that self-driving cars are the way of the future, or?
Yeah. How much are they like relatively affordable now, or is it still
Tesla-
crazy high end?
So Tesla,
I know Teslas are high end. It's
Teslas
not.
are high-end. And I mean technically,
BMW is also working on one, and
Are there any actually on the market right now, other
No.
than the Tesla? That's
Nope.
kind of
no.
sort of one.
No, I know Nevada passed legislation. I think it was last year. It made the news rounds that like legalizing self-driving cars. Or was it outlawing? One of those two. It was either Utah or Nevada. They either legalized or banned self-driving cars. I think it was
Google, take the
legalizing.
wheel.
RN Google, RN Jesus, RN Google. Sorry.
I think that... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think that ideally, self-driving cars solve a problem that is kind of caused by our use of cars in general. Accidents and traffic and that sort of thing. That's all
100%.
because we drive so many goddamn cars.
Human error, right? It's all human error.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of people, and the tiny margin of error is multiplied, in your general area by more people that there are around. But I think that realistically, self-driving technology is going to be the future, but I don't think that self-driving cars specifically will be the future. I think that there will be like companies like Lyft or Uber or something like that with self-driving cars, like a taxi service or something like that. I don't think that in 20 years everyone's going to own a self-driving car.
Have you seen? Have you guys ever watched Silicon Valley, like the
Nope.
HBO?
Sorry.
Oh, it's great. I'm gonna spoil a little bit for you in case you ever
How
decide to watch
dare
it.
you?
I know it's how dare I spoil a sitcom for you. So like the show is actually really funny. It's like a lot of tongue-in-cheek like jabs at Silicon Valley culture, and there's and how they're always trying to like find like the latest and greatest. And one of the things is that one of the characters gets into a self-driving car, and it's like a smart car, and it starts driving him around, and in the middle of his journey it decides time to return to the home base, time to return to the charging station or whatever, and drives the car with the character still in the car into like a shipping container, and then that shipping container is like flown across the ocean to some millionaire's private island, or owner of the company who owns that car, and like he's just trapped in the shipping container in the car, and he can't get out. It was pretty funny. Um, but I mean, yeah, that's an interesting concept. Like the idea of
It's like
people
public
not
transport, but for everyone.
but
But
for
like everyone gets their individual little thing. It's like
privatized public transport.
basically, I mean, it'll be accessible to everyone, I think. There'll just be
Membership.
so many of them whizzing around. Like imagine if every car were a taxi. Like
That sounds expensive. Taxi
not
rides are
if every
expensive.
car is a taxi.
That's true, and if they're electric, low
Yep.
low gas cost, low yeah, and because these things are electric, they're not crashing the things all the time. They're not doing things they shouldn't be doing.
Right.
Maintenance costs should be pretty low.
You don't have to hire a driver.
MPG is better
MPG is
Yep.
because
better.
human error screws your mileage up and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. That's an interesting concept, actually. I like that. Like the idea of just people just not owning cars. And honestly, depending on where you live, it's probably more it's like beneficial to just not own a car, and you probably won't need a car most of the time.
Yeah, I can see in more dense cities,
Urban areas, for
a
sure.
network of self-driving cars definitely would shake things up. I think in more suburban areas, people may still own their own cars, which probably will be
Now,
self-driving. But
you have to have everything be self-driving, or else this future doesn't work.
yeah, it's true. That's true. But I mean, yeah, I mean, self-driving cars are only going to take off if self-driving cars are adopted in general.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it's going to work, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just. I mean,
And with your taxi, your automated taxi service, that would have to be government owned as well, right?
Well,
definitely
not
have to be
necessarily.
regulated, for
Not
sure.
necessarily. I think that technologically, like it's kind of a simple concept. I don't think it would have to be government owned, but I think that it would maybe be government subsidized.
Government subsidized
Uh,
and very heavily looked at. It'd be very heavily observed, especially in the first few years of this
Well,
Well-
imagine if a corporation controlled literally all of the transportation.
Dude, what if a corporation controlled like literally all of the internet or all of the, that already happens. It's
Well,
it
yeah.
I mean, you can still have individual car manufacturers. You can still have like I'm not campaigning for one corporation owning this, of course.
Super
But
cyberpunk, by the way.
yeah, but I
Yeah, I
mean,
know.
but is it all that bad? I mean, we trust a group of people with our public transport now. We trust a group of people not to crash into us now, and why wouldn't we trust a group of people to run shit then?
Well, we trust the government with the public transportation. We don't trust, I don't know, fucking IBM.
Greyhound. Well, Greyhound technically, Greyhound is technically private, and Amtrak also.
Right.
I think private. Um,
Those are long distance transport. I think the thing is
I'm
that
talking about like municipal buses and BART and
I
stuff
see.
like that.
Oh, stuff like that, like
Most public transport.
well, I
is-
mean,
is
government owned.
this is not like, oh, we're gonna in the next 5 years this is gonna happen. This is gonna drop on us. I'm just saying that eventually this is the way I see the self-driving car thing playing out because I don't think that it's going to be accessible enough if if we have the same car model that we do now, like you buy a car and it's yours and you make payments on it for 10 years and that's it.
I shudder at the
It's
thought of
just
10-year
that
car
it's a
payments.
bad model as it is, and if that changes, then I think self-driving cars have a chance, and if self-driving cars make it, then I think this has a chance. I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm not like proposing that this is a good idea or that this is like absolute. Just it's the direction.
Yeah. Uh, actually, that was and something you mentioned was actually kind of like piqued my interest. Was that the idea of just buying a car and then, and then it's yours. Another thing that, I mean, just like a side note, like another thing that Teslas run into in terms of resistance is that in order to buy a Tesla, I don't know if you guys have probably heard, it's like that. In order to buy a Tesla, you have to buy it directly from Tesla. You can't buy it through a dealership.
That's fine. I think that's
that's better.
completely justified.
and-
I think
Go ahead.
on as small a scale as they distribute, it's really not a problem. Maybe in the future you can do it through a dealership, but I mean,
But why? But why would
we
you want a dealership?
right. Well, I don't. I wouldn't personally. I hate dealing with the Ford dealership that my parents' car belongs to. It's just like it's inconvenient that I have to, instead of just going to any service station, like I have to go there. It's
I don't know.
it's not.
It just
Yeah.
seems like that the dealership system is like kind of outdated at this point because especially in the internet age where people are just like you just buy things directly from your manufacturer. You don't have
Hmm.
to go to a store. You could just like buy it online and it gets shipped to you.
Hmm.
It
I've
seems ridiculous that you have to go through like something like for cars especially. And to be fair, cars, despite moving, the industry itself has not really progressed in terms of core
Your mic's
structure.
cutting out just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm yeah, it's yeah, I solved that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but
Uh,
no, go ahead.
I
Or
just feel like maybe I think that if there's a fair market, things will work out. I think if there's competition, things will work out. And I think that, but at the same time, I think that, oh, hold on. Let me clarify. If there are, if the market is unfair, but there's competition, then consumers will get what is best. If the market is fair and anyone who has a monopoly isn't going to be a dick about it, then people are still in good hands, you know? And I think that Tesla, even if they don't relinquish the responsibility of selling their cars to dealerships, um, selling their cars through dealerships. Uh, I think they'll do a good job of regulating the price and keeping everything within range.
right, at the risk of sounding like a financial podcast instead of a interesting things podcast, um, the way the market like competition has been run for especially new companies
Hmm.
in the in the past decade or so is a
Yeah.
lot different than the way it was before because I mean certainly you have your tech giants, right? Your Google, Microsoft, Amazon,
Yeah.
whatever, but you're starting to see one, you're still getting a lot of competition because you have Twitter. These are small companies and they're still getting pretty big, and they're just starting out. And like even the concept, a concept as revolutionary as why don't we just have people give each other rides and get paid for it instead of taking a taxi, right?
Right.
And I'm talking about Uber and Lyft, and like already right there, there's already competition. So, and in the electric car space, you're already seeing a lot of companies trying to they're trying to rush electric cars themselves. I
Like
mean,
who?
well, BMW for one, I think
Okay.
got their they got and Nissan has their Leaf, Chevy has their Volt, and obviously
But
these aren't like 100% replacements. They're not as on the bleeding edge, and they're not as crazy great as Teslas are. But you bet your ass that GM. Well, I hesitate to say GM because GM is just kind of
they've been slow on the
they've been
uptake.
they've been slow on everything really.
Yeah, it's
um,
okay.
but like I'm sure Toyota, all the larger and Ford, all the larger car manufacturers are trying to get their electric cars to market because look how good Teslas are selling. I mean, sure they're not shipping a lot, but how many Teslas do you guys see
I
around?
see enough.
You see enough, yeah. You definitely like, and you could point them out too. That's another
Hmm.
thing. Like no one goes by. It's like wow, look at that Ford Escape. It's
True.
you see like wow, look at that Tesla, and I see them even where I am. I'm in like in the sticks. I mean, I hesitate to say the sticks, but I still see Teslas around where I live. So
Mm. Mm.
it's like I'm willing to bet that electric cars there's going to be some fair competition, and by extension, I mean it's a bit of a jump here, but self-driving cars are going to be a very heavily saturated market,
Yep.
as time
If
progresses.
so, if Solar City takes off, then everyone will be able to charge their cars for free for just from the sun, and I guess that's Elon Musk's dream.
Right. Did Elon Musk do Solar City?
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
I mean, I'm pretty sure they.
I think we
They're
talked about this
owned by-
before. I don't know. I think I was surprised last time. And I'm still surprised that Elon Musk is associated with Solar City because I don't know. It seems kind of sketchy, but I think we talked about that already. Sketchy.
That man has a
so-
lot going on.
He does.
Mhm.
Yeah. SpaceX, Tesla, Solar City. I guess.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, well, I mean, like, times are changing. Like, at the end of the day, times are changing, and there's maybe we'll see even more improvements in like commuting because, remember, like speaking of things that Elon Musk is researching, there's that Hyperloop thing, right?
I
Have
read
you
a
guys
little
heard
bit
of that?
about that a couple years ago, and I thought to myself that was
The dopest thing you ever heard.
Or the
Uh,
weird, or like the most impractical thing you've ever heard?
I thought
What do
I
you
thought it
mean?
was just I thought it was I mean
I
it's
want
a
to
cool
be inside a giant pneumatic tube. What's the problem? That sounds great.
Yeah.
like it just like it makes sense, but it
It does.
doesn't
It's very.
it seems like a
far-fetched.
long way to go to do the same thing differently.
Well,
Like
that's the
it's
thing.
a long
That's the issue with transportation, right? You need one like. It is 100% completely reliant on infrastructure.
Yep.
Because
And we have
And
the
our structure is
infrastructure for
roads right
electric
now.
cars.
So yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good point. We're gonna have to stick with that because the roads are just cost too much money to abandon
build.
completely.
Yeah, unless you want to do like a huge, FDR style public project, which
FDR did the highways were built for defense purposes.
Mhm.
They weren't
By
like
Eisenhower. Also.
oh, I
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
I misspoke. My bad. I must
highways were built for
apologize.
defense purposes, and until we have we need to move our nukes around through pneumatic tubes. Until that happens, Hyperloop's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yep. Military is the best motivator, it seems. Maybe we should get electric tanks. That'll be-
Electric tanks, and have them self-driving electric tanks.
But then what happens when our enemies turn off the sun and their electric tanks don't work anymore?
Well,
Think about that.
well, then the market will be open. Damn.
Those electric, by the way, tanks are very fuel inefficient. It's like several gallons to the mile. It's not miles to the gallon.
Yeah, I'd figure. I mean, it's a tank. I mean, you're literally carting a giant gun around. What more do you want?
Yeah.
You're driving a
that's-
tank.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I read an interesting statistic that like I don't think any M1, the American Army's tank, like the M1 Brahms
Abrams
Abrams
yep.
tank.
Yep.
I don't think it's ever been destroyed by an enemy tank.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know there were enemy tanks. Like,
Well, that's the issue is that I don't think like the M1 Abrams tank hasn't really come into contact with any other enemy
tanks.
like modern enemy tanks really, because the most advanced tanks it's had to fight are like the T-72s from Cold War days. So, like Russian Cold War tanks. So I mean, modern
That
Abrams
fought at
tank
T1000.
I want to see them try.
I'd watch that.
That sounds like a good movie. I also want to watch anyways, I mean, we're kind of like I want to talk about more things about self-driving cars because there's like a lot of different aspects involved with self-driving cars. Like, I mean, I have it on my list right here, but insurance. I'm not very well versed in the manners of paperwork and insurance.
Okay.
But I'm sure that would be affected by it. I don't know what the ramifications are though.
It would die.
would
Car
die.
insurance would be useless because everything's like they don't get in accidents. There's no more human error that you need to insure.
Yep. I mean, I think that the only thing it would be is I think that liability would be transferred to the company who makes it legally.
Which is really
I think that's sensible. If, for example, let's say Honda, Toyota, and Ford all have self-driving cars. If the Toyota ones get in accidents like 0.7% of the time, and the Ford ones reliably get in accidents 0.9% of the time, It's not like, oh, it's we will have a black box to look at. We'll see who messed up. And if it's the software, I'm pretty sure the company is liable or would be
But another
liable.
thing is the self-driving cars, you're able to still drive it if you want. At least the ones are now.
Right.
Right,
For now.
That
and
wouldn't actually change the.
right. So you'd have insurance for when you were controlling it, sure. But I think that for when it's self-driving, or there's gonna be some kind of paperwork that puts it on your shoulders or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really weird because, like, I mean, if your car is self-driving and then you're technically using that company's software to drive, so like by extension, are you not no longer do you no longer own that car? Are you licensing that, or are you licensing that car from your manufacturer? Are you licensing, like, when that car is driving you around, are you driving under your name or under the company's name?
I think it should. I think this is a complicated issue because on one hand, you kind of understand the risks going into it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Well, yes, because I mean, I'm sure there's definitely, like, for every piece of software you have ever used, there has been a license agreement you've had to
Right.
sign, like a
And
EULA.
right, yeah. And I think that in some cases, for example, let's say the self-driving car misjudges somehow. Like I feel like they'll have it down to the point where it won't make mistakes. I feel like they
Not
will.
very
And I feel
often.
like that the more self-driving cars that are on the road, the more compensation that can happen. Like, let's say one does swerve out of control, then all the ones around it will, adjust. They'll figure it out where people may not.
Yeah.
I think that if it scrapes another car or something, then it would probably be you know, on you. But
Yeah.
I think that if it like drives into an intersection when it's a red, that's probably on the company.
Yeah.
Like
And
something that's more fundamental.
that's another issue, because what if something goes wrong and it kills someone? Who's responsible? Right? Like, it's very difficult to judge, like, is it I mean, obviously, would it be the software manufacturer's fault? Is it the car manufacturer's fault? It's like it's so far down the ladder that you have to, it's so hard to discern, like, who's at fault and who's, what's at stake here.
Yep.
So, like, another thing that someone mentioned on a podcast I was listening to, I think it was the Maximum PC podcast, but like, someone was very skeptical about self-driving cars because, what if, like, this is very hypothetical, very, very hypothetical.
As it should be.
The the car is in a very precarious situation, right? And basically, the car has to decide. This is obviously very, like, highly unlikely to happen, but the car has to decide between crashing your car into a wall and potentially killing you, or crashing your car into oncoming traffic and then potentially killing someone else, or
Damn.
multiple people. Like, I don't, like, obviously there's so many algorithms and so much code behind that like, it's not simple as A or B, but
No.
that's something to be considered, and I don't know if that question has been answered yet.
I
don't know
don't
if it
think
can
so.
be
I think
answered.
it's just like we're not able to ask that question yet. It's like, oh, how are we going to get across this bridge when it's not built? It's not. It's very, very confusing and very, very nebulous, cryptic. We're not going to figure it out.
The legal
I just
ramifications of this are just insane, like,
Yeah.
one way or
Uh,
another.
I don't want people to die. That's all. And I think that self-driving cars will make the road safer, and they will make fewer people die. I.
Controversial opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Well,
want people to die.
the issue is that, like, if you die, like, I don't know why people are so obsessed with the right to die, basically, but, well, not in the sense of what I let me rephrase that, because right to die is a different matter entirely.
Yes.
They're like, I want to be responsible for my own mistakes and driving mistakes and ultimate death. So,
Who wants to be responsible for their own mistakes? What the hell?
No,
You
no,
want
no.
someone
Like,
else to
like,
deal with that.
there's this
What are you
weird.
talking about?
I know. Like this is like there's this weird thing that people have. Like not
The
us.
3 best
a lot of
people on the planet.
Literally 3 of them.
That many people have that like. It's they don't want to, like if your car crashes and you die, it's not your fault that you died. Right?
No, if my car crashes and I die, if my car,
Your self-driving
not
car.
my
If your
fault. My
self-driving
hands
car.
were in the
If
wheel.
your
Yeah,
if
that
your
was the
self-driving
problem.
car.
That's why it
Sorry.
crashed.
I meant
This
to
is-
I meant to rephrase that. If your self-driving car crashes and you die, it's like
it's my fault because listen, I will not drive a self-drive. I will not get in a self-driving car or I won't try to drive a self-driving car where I don't have the option to control. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that there would be it would be I'd be hard pressed to find a situation where I was going fast enough or somehow moving at a rate where I could die getting in a crash and then the car messes up and I can't control it enough to take take away the dying thing that's going to happen. I at that point I don't care. Like
okay. And I guess the wordplay that you could get around that is that by, using a self-driving car, that is your choice to possibly die because you were in a self-driving
I mean, like when I get in my
choice.
car normally, I don't expect completely that every other driver will respect my space, and so I'm careful. You know, I look out. I try to drive safely, and I think that self-driving cars will help people drive safely as opposed like I just don't see a situation where this could happen. That I guess is what's stumping me.
Yeah, no.
I
no.
don't.
No, I 100% agree. And I mean, I was just throwing, it's just questions to
of
be
course.
answered possibly. And honestly, the second someone dies in a self-driving related accident,
Oh,
like,
it's over.
It's over.
It's over.
It's like 100% over. So
Even though
Well, if it's
you
in
know,
its nascent stages, then yeah.
yeah. So like,
But like if it's well established, then it's like just like normal cars. People die all the
someone's
time in
gonna
normal
die.
cars,
Someone's
but
gonna
it's
die
well
eventually.
established. So there's, it's not like we can't use cars anymore because people die in them.
we really have to
Get it right the
just-
first few years.
no, we have to get through people's heads that driving is dangerous and accidents will happen and that if a self-driving car gets in an accident, it's not necessarily the car's fault or the technology's fault. It's people, as it normally is, and that and also just sheer random luck. Until we have all the factors controlled, until the streets are filled with self-driving cars that are hive-minded by a central, civil, I don't know, civil
Central.
database. So yeah, some sort of street control. Then of course we're not going to be able to guarantee anything. But this is a step toward being able to guarantee things, and it's way better than the unpredictable shit we have to put up with now.
Nice. Well said. And it's worth noting that Google statistics for self-driving cars is very like the self-driving cars themselves have gotten into very few accidents, and all accidents were human error related. So the software is looking pretty good so far as self-driving cars are concerned. And
Good to hear.
It's still going to take forever for it to be on market.
Oh,
They
for
have to
sure.
test it forever.
forever. Yeah, safety is just like the biggest issue, and considering
Remember when the car companies didn't want to put seatbelts in?
or airbags.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if this comes on strong enough, it's going to become a thing where if the computer driver is better than the person driver, then it should be put in every car. That's
Yeah.
just how it should be. And I think that it will eventually reach that point because we're going to have to test it. We're going to have to put it through a bunch of trial, and it's going to have errors, but at the end it probably won't. And it's at that point where it's going to become a safety feature more than anything else, I think.
But also the police is going to push against self-driving cars because it's going to reduce driving tickets and stuff like that.
Well, screw that.
That's where they make their money.
That's
Yeah.
terrible. That's like, oh, we want people to be unlawful so that we can whore money.
Well,
That's
they do.
a bad
So
model. That's a bad model, though.
I know, but
And no
police
one's
is a
going-
There's gonna be a
big
lot of resistance. There's
force,
gonna be
big
a lot of
influential force.
Yeah,
So-
like, well, it's not just that. It's, repair centers, car manufacturers, even, I mean,
Insurance companies.
insurance companies. Like, these are
Yeah.
huge market forces that, like, are, very influential, unfortunately. And
And
Rooted
it's-
in their ways.
yes, they have their ways, but we'll see. You can't stop progress, I suppose. So
Yep. I didn't. I mean, I have a seatbelt now, so it feels good.
Rats.
yeah, I mean, the second, like, as soon as someone says that, it is 100%. It's like it's guaranteed to be on average safer than the human driver. Then it's going to have to be implemented because you're saving many, many, many lives.
Yep.
Another thing, like, another cool aspect of ethics aside, another cool aspect of, well, not aside, but, like, with that out of the way, another cool aspect of self-driving cars is the ability to just sleep in your car and not worry about driving. So, like, a 6-hour drive becomes
6 hours of Instagram.
6 hours of sleep while you go to you could get your full 8 hours of sleep on your way to work, or on
But
your
it's
way
only a
back.
6-hour car ride. How is
who-
that possible?
I'm sleeping on my way to work. It's 8 hours away.
Sorry,
Wow.
traffic's really
No,
bad.
my life
It-
is fucked.
I understand.
Do you think? I mean, like, would commuting be possibly more, like, commuting longer distances be more viable than now with
I
self-driving
know.
cars?
I would know that absolutely. I would commute to San Fran every day if I had to in a self-driving car. I'd go a 3-hour drive even
Because then you can live in cheap places and still work and make a lot of money.
I would live
Yes.
in my car.
Have you guys
Not a joke.
have you guys by any chance seen the cricket trailer?
I have not.
Trailer for the sport cricket.
Oh no. Okay, it's a small towable trailer. Okay, it's like a camper, but it was designed by a guy who spent a bunch of time on the ISS, and so I figure he knows how to work small spaces. And it's just this really nice little everything is available to you home that you can tow in a 4-cylinder car. And I'd totally just have a self-driving car and be in my little towable trailer. I'd
Is
do
it
that.
on market?
Huh? Yeah, it is.
How much does
It
it
is.
cost?
Let me check that out. It is $21,000.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but I mean it's got a water heater and a shower and everything, and it's really nice.
Give me
It's really good
power,
looking.
internet, and that's all I need.
I mean, that's pretty. $20,000 is the cheapest house known of in kind.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's, I mean, to be fair, yeah. And speaking of cheap things and managing small spaces, well, I'll talk about that later.
We
Now,
should
I'm
talk about that now.
I was
Well-
gonna get a hamster tube for my self-driving car to my house behind it. And I was gonna live the life.
Yeah.
The life. It is the life. Gotta have balloon-powered internet too.
Balloon powered internet.
Yes.
Latency's terrible though, so don't like
Oh.
I play Hearthstone. It's fine.
that. Hearthstone. We'll talk about that later.
No.
Valve has a habit of like kind of crowdsourcing all their content for them, basically letting gamers do the work for them.
Yep.
I know this is quite the jump, but whatever. I live in the future. There are no segues.
Nice.
With the Steam controllers now finally shipping to houses. By the way, those have started shipping to houses, and people are getting their
Nice.
hands on them now. I'm $5 away on my Steam account to buying a Steam controller plus Rocket League plus Portal 2. So it's very
Nice.
nice. But yeah, so it's like, but with these controllers, like, even now Valve is saying, "Hey guys, mod our controllers for us, make them better, so we don't really have to do work."
It's a good idea because I think that a lot of people have vision and creativity and even the skills to do these things, but they don't have the large manufacturing force or the sort of techno giant status that Valve does, you know?
The
And
beautiful
if
thing. Well, go ahead. No, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep
no,
going.
I was just gonna say if someone can make something better, then and this sort of gives them the means to do so, you know?
And it has never been a better time to be a modern maker with 3D printing and like all the resources very readily available. It's easy to even physically modify items, things for you.
Hmm.
So I'm predicting a lot of 3D printed controller, Valve controller um, accessories.
Well, I mean, if you have a 3D printer, it's not like you're using it for a lot of things, you know? And I'd totally print a custom
Like a
fitted.
custom grip or
Yep.
things like that. That'd be really
Yep.
fun to do.
Hmm.
And this isn't just physically. This is also like in terms of like software, like
Hmm.
different controller layouts. And actually
Hmm.
that's one of the most one of the things I'm most excited for
Hmm.
the Steam controller is that like if the controls suck on this game, I don't have to worry about like remapping everything. I could just look like, hey, this controller set looks pretty optimized. I'm just gonna download this configuration and then boom, it works.
Nice.
So I'm
Yeah,
that'd be fun to do.
I'm excited. I'm excited to use that piece of equipment. I've heard that it was underwhelming
Some people,
Yes,
somewhere.
a
I
lot
mean,
of places have said meh.
meh.
I mean, did they really put up a fuss about, the PS3 controller or the Xbox One controller either? It's not like,
That's a really good point. Do people like do you I don't know if people actually like look at the controllers like, wow, this is the greatest controller. They don't really get hyped about controllers, I don't think.
It
nope.
was more of like people saying this is bad and some people saying this is fine.
Oh,
Okay.
that's
Okay, that's interesting.
Like PC Gamer did not like it at all.
hmm. Well, they're PC gamer.
Well, they're PC
It's
gamer
for the
though.
PC.
It's like
They are the authority on that, right? That's the whole
yeah,
deal with the name of their website.
yeah.
True.
Well, it's
Okay.
and and honestly for something like that, it's very much personal preference. I feel like it's a lot of it is also personal preference.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
I could play GTA 5 with my keyboard and mouse, or I could play it with a controller. I'd rather play it with a controller, can play it with a keyboard and mouse. And I think that's a judgment call, and using a peripheral that doesn't fit the gameplay is going to just be a detriment. And it depends on what they tested it with and what they tested it against.
yeah.
I feel that would really define it. I didn't read any of these things, so I don't know, but I don't know if they did side by side analysis like is this more comfortable than the DualShock or is this more comfortable than the Xbox One controller or anything like that.
I think a really good application for, at least for me, would be for flight games.
For
Because
sure.
I like the movement of of an analog stick for movement on a
Hmm.
on a flying vehicle, but I kind of want my accuracy, so touchpad all the way. I don't
Yep.
know. I don't know. That's something I would probably opt for the Steam controller potential uses.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
I think
if
in
I'm too
Rocket
lazy,
League it would be. I think
Rocket League,
the two stage triggers are going to be a lot of fun.
just like the
It
good
would
old GameCube days.
yeah. I mean that was just it was handy. It's like you had an extra button, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm, yeah. Um. Yeah.
What else is on our menu?
Well, I just wanted to talk. Yeah. That was just like the thing I wanted to talk about, like how Valve kind of just like crowdsources their work because like gamers are infamously very whiny in
Yep.
terms of like what they want. And like
Hmm.
Valve's response to that is basically like, fine, you don't like what we do, just do it
Do it
yourself.
yourself.
And yeah, so, um,
And that didn't work. There's so many garbage games come out in Steam all the time.
well,
Yep.
well, like not, I mean, not for that, but like you could release a game and then gamers don't like it, and then and then it's like, well, you can mod it yourself to make it better, or things like that. Which it's a balance between should your product have been good in the first place, and you can't please everyone, so let everyone tailor it to their own needs.
The
It's
thing is that
it's a balance, I feel.
yeah, but DLC, dude, this is like I feel like game companies should really take responsibility for the experience. And while Valve's treatment of these things is definitely good for we the gamers, it's not necessarily good for game development. I don't know if that really counts for, big names like Bethesda or EA or anything, but small time people, indie game developers, if it's I just think it's not a good environment to if it's not hard enough, it's not a good environment.
Yeah. It's yeah, yeah.
I don't
If
really
what's not
know.
hard enough, I'm lost.
Oh, I don't know. If it I don't know. I don't know.
We don't know what we're talking about anymore. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Yeah, I just kind of want to talk about that because the Steam controller's trying to pop up. I'm gonna see if I can pick
Mm.
one up and I know GameStop is trying. You could they're stocking them, so not stock. They're
Because
not
they're
stalking
desperate to
them
get anything physical in
in
their
their
store.
stores. Yeah,
Anything
they're missing out
video
on
game
the
physical, they will just completely gobble up because they need whatever they can find.
yeah.
Yep.
Everything going digital these days. Um, so the last thing I have, because we kind of talked about last week, we talked about kind of like an online education system.
Mm-hmm.
And basically so Germany is opening an online universities for its refugees. So like if you haven't been following like world news lately, so I guess it looks like the Middle East is kind of producing a lot of refugees because it's a very war torn area these days, or
Mm-hmm.
many parts of it are at least. And
Yep.
so as a result, you're getting a lot of refugees trying to look for a better way of life. So Germany is one of those countries in the EU that's kind of opening up, kind of welcoming refugees with open arms. And this is part of their efforts, and it's an online university for refugees to kind of educate themselves because schools get overcrowded sometimes.
Yep.
Always, they always get overcrowded. It's overcrowded at my school, and my school's tiny. Um, yeah, so
This is. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no. That's it. That's it. So like, I don't know. What do
I
you
don't
guys
know. I
think
think
of it?
that's the value of connectivity and the value of having the internet. It's just you have these resources accessible to you, and I think that it's great that they're opening up online stuff for their refugees because if you can, you should, you know. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that that's a policy that's not really adopted in most cases.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. And not like if you can do something, that do something, but I mean
He
if
said doo
something would
doo.
something would benefit a bunch of
That's my
people.
contribution to this intelligent discussion.
Someone needs to go into online university.
Oh, well, yep. You need to get educated, Taylor.
As
Your
if you're
real
not
school
already.
isn't. Yeah, exactly. That's the joke.
Yeah, no, it's I guess this is just like another step in the way of people just getting more of their education online. Because there are some things you cannot teach on a computer. That I will definitely admit, like labs, things that Taylor mentioned, like communication, with actual human beings.
Hmm.
But there are a wealth of topics that don't require much, if any, human interaction. Because I was actually studying for my midterms this week, and one of my classmates I was studying with told me that she doesn't even really
Oh,
like pay
she,
attention to.
James.
Yes, I have
Oh.
classmates that are female. That's
Uh-oh. Well, I was hoping there was more to that.
yeah. No.
Just,
She was just telling me that she actually doesn't really even pay attention in lecture, really, because like the lecture, like my professor, like my lecturer is he's okay, but he kind of goes really fast, and honestly it's just so hard to keep up with uh calculus at
Hmm.
going at the pace that we're going.
Mhm.
And and she just says, yeah, I don't really even pay attention. I kind of just doze off in lecture these days. I go home and I watch like a 2 hour lecture that's been taped online, and that way I could just I could go at my own pace basically, because you can't just straight up like stand up in lecture and just say like, hold up, can you just redo everything you just did right there? I didn't understand what you just did.
Yeah.
You can't just hold up the
Hmm.
class like that. As much as professors will always like encourage you to ask questions and all that, they do
Mhm.
have to get some, they have to get they have to get through the curriculum.
They have
So
to make progress.
yeah, they have to make some progress. Otherwise, no one's gonna get ahead. So to combat that, she just said, screw this. I'm just gonna go watch lectures online and then, learn that way. And then I guess it works pretty well. And I've done that myself too, because if I don't understand a concept, I'll go to like just Khan Academy or whatever, just to, like kind of recap, yeah.
Do you
Because-
use like the whole Khan Academy website stuff where they have the tests and make sure you know what you're doing, or you just watch the videos? They have a really comprehensive program.
They do, yeah. I really love Khan Academy, and honestly, I recommend it to anyone who just wants to learn. But I don't, because I have like a textbook, and I have like what I do is I practice problems out of the textbook, and then to check my work, I will go to the answer key. Well, not even I don't even go to the book's answer key, because there's like a wealth of online resources that have fully explained, solutions to the problems that I'm solving. So like, if I made a mistake, I could figure out where I, made a mistake in that math problem. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, honestly, like, I used to think that like self-teaching math, it was really complicated, but it's actually not as hard as I expected it to be, because so many, like, even students that are attending a university that they pay for,
Would rather learn online.
would rather learn
But there's
online.
different learning styles.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's hard for me. I can't do math on my own. I need someone working through it. If I just look at a problem worked out on the page, it just means nothing to me.
No,
Right,
and
of
honestly, that's the other thing too. Because I know yesterday I tried studying by myself, and no, that didn't work. That's why today I actually went to campus and like had some classmates, and we worked out problems on a whiteboard, and that way we could just it's a more efficient form of discussion than my actual discussion class.
Yep.
I must say.
I mean, it's just at its very core, all an internet discussion forum or all the internet is just, it bridges the distance between two people or more people, two or more people.
It's a series of tubes.
Yeah, it's a series of tubes. That's all it is. And
Did a hyper tube?
Hyperloop.
Hyperloop.
it's the hypest loop, dude.
Oh, it's so hype.
So
This loop is so
out of
hype.
your router, people just shoot out of your router. That's how we're gonna travel. We're gonna physically travel through the internet soon. That's how we're gonna do it.
But like that's
I'm never gonna say I browse the internet. I'm just gonna say I hype up the loops.
Oh,
hyped loops.
hype
Dude, do hype the loops.
loops.
But like I'm just saying, like, it's not really that fundamentally different. If you can't absorb something from a lecture, you won't absorb something from an online lecture. And it's not really that different. It's not that different talking to a classmate on a discussion forum, or over Skype or something like that.
That's true, but again, it depends on the person who's teaching and all that. There's so many factors involved that
I think there's a value in face to face.
Of course,
And
there is.
being in
But
person.
Of course, but when it's face to face for 15 to, or like $10,000 to $60,000 per year versus free, the difference becomes marginal. I think, anyway.
Yeah, it's a money proposition. It's different. You're right.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it in terms of So, online education it's an interesting concept to, like, explore, especially like different applications of it. And
it's coming up, and it's going to be more popular, I think, and it's gonna find its niche and its acceptance in the next 10 years. I'm pretty sure.
Until the degrees stops becoming super important. I know it's less important now, but it's still very important.
I was thinking about
Just
this,
have a
actually.
degree.
Yeah, I was thinking about this actually, because I could basically learn all of my lower division classes online. I think maybe it'll, like, the education system will be refined to the point where you only need to go to college for upper division classes.
Like post-grad school is now, like,
Yeah.
or it should just be like
So you get your GEs online is what he's saying, right?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I think honestly, I would probably do that, but culture.
Well, I'm kind of in that where I'm going to community college which is basically the boilerplate, basic education
Yeah,
for all my GE.
yeah, and honestly, I mean, you're getting
And I
like,
technically could do all these classes online
yeah.
if I wanted to.
So it's like I mean, I was doing my calculus class online basically. So I mean, it's not that more far stretched to just get your GEs done online and then you know
Once it's more specialized, actually,
yeah
Yeah,
bec-
that makes sense.
yeah
That'd be great.
yeah that's I think that and honestly, you're going to community college like a lot of people are going to doing that 2-year plan and then just going transferring to whatever community college they want for or whatever university they want for their upper division. And honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I honestly see that becoming the mainstream soon.
Yep. Yep.
Everyone
Yep. Yep.
said everyone that I tell them that I'm doing community college for 2 years and transferring to UC, everyone says, "Man, I wish I did that."
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because the issue is that in high school everyone's kind of like really self-conscious and they're like, well,
I have to go to I have to go to an expensive college in order
impress my friends that I'll never see again. Yeah.
and your family, of course, who it's family pressure a lot at the time too.
Well, I mean, and then you tell that. Well, it's family pressure up to the point that you tell them how much they have to pay, assuming
Right.
they're paying for your education,
Right.
and then it becomes a different matter. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
True.
don't know.
True.
It's yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's it in terms of topics we have for this week. Got a
It
pretty
was a solid list.
yeah,
Solid list.
it's very short but solid list. So I think we're gonna kind of start closing out. So in order to close out, we're gonna need to talk about what we have been doing.
A
Yeah, I've had a lot going on, so I'll save my part for last.
you.
Yeah, yay, nay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ravenstorm though, have you been doing anything?
I haven't been doing that much that's exciting. I think I've got a kind of a short list this week. I took on this little challenge called 100 Days of UI, and it's just user interface design little challenges that I get in my inbox every morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the first one today,
Interesting.
and I'm kind of happy. It's just like it's a little something to do, not too intensive, just
Is it like
something.
what I'm imagining is a kind of a UI puzzle to try and teach you like design, like core design choices of like clicks to page kind of thing. That what it actually I don't know what it actually means, what you're saying, but that's what I'm imagining. Of like
Right. Okay. So what it is, all it is they send me a little it's like a writing prompt almost, except it's a design prompt. This morning's was, let's see, was to create a sign up page of some sort. Uh, let's see.
someone grading this, or is it just
It's just for you. That's how a lot of the coding and design stuff goes. It's really a you need to be
practice?
self-regulating. Yep. The challenge today was design a sign-up page, modal, form, app screen, etc. It's up to you, and share on your Dribble or Twitter account when you're done. And
What the
that's all
fuck's
it
a
is.
dribble?
It's this. It's interesting. It's a design community website where you can share your work and sort. It's you know what LinkedIn is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
LinkedIn for
for,
design.
for designers, sort of. It's their their slogan is "Dribble is show and tell for designers."
Huh?
Yeah.
What's double dribble?
That's a foul.
That's where you just don't do
That's
that.
where the FCC comes in.
That's cool though. I like the idea of that. I mean, if I had I told myself like I could do daily like SAT questions in high school, and they ended up like they email you like SAT questions,
Yeah.
and then after like a month of that, I just had none of it. I just like, nope, I can't do it. It's just clogging out my inbox. I'm just gonna unsubscribe. But maybe it just wasn't as engaging as your UI. That sounds interesting though. Like I don't know.
I mean, it's not much. It's just all it is I guess is that it provides sort of a branching point for me. It lets me it gives me a challenge to face to sort of expand my horizons, because otherwise I wouldn't have made a sign up page. I don't need to make anything for someone to sign up now, but this gives me something that I can put out there that's public and I can link to people and say, hey, I do design. Here's 100 examples of things I've done. And I think that at the end of 100 days, that's going to be a good little portfolio,
Yeah, I like that. I
and
like
a
the
good
idea of that.
and a good skill set. But that's really all I've been doing. Been playing Counter Strike, and I've been really, really salty at that. So I'm not going to talk about that one.
That's the spirit. Fuck
Whoever's next.
Counter-Strike.
Let the salt,
Whoever's
let the
next.
salt, let the salt flow through you.
Yep. I can't channel my salt though. It's a different kind of salt. It's like a self-loathing kind of salt, and less of a
Terrible
goddamn it
teammate.
kind of salt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, what have you been up to, or Taylor?
Should I talk about the book I read? I don't. Is that?
Yeah.
I think that's actually a really good topic.
Anything you consume or produce, feel free to share.
Okay, I consumed the fuck out of that book. I read it in under 24 hours.
And then ate it for dinner.
Yeah, it was my Kindle, so it was a bad decision. I have to buy a new one now.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Wait,
But
how do you?
it's by Murakami,
Mhm.
which is the most popular Japanese author. And
Okay.
I read his most normal book that I didn't know beforehand. It's called Norwegian Wood, and it's about a guy in Japan in the late 1960s or early 70s in college, dealing with a lot of college issues and a lot of relationships and love stuff and a lot of existential themes. And it talks about music all the time. Like the name of the book, Norwegian Wood, is a Beatles song.
Oh, I see. I
So
didn't know that.
I really loved it. It's a lot of good quotes about it. Really introspective,
Hmm.
which is apparently a theme throughout all the rest of his books. But I just really like introspective writing and thinking about life in general. And the backdrop for that introspective life thinking was also perfect because I am also in college and similar issues,
That's good.
except for not as drastic as the character in the book. Because there's a lot of death in that book,
Ooh,
a lot of suicide all around,
not fun. Not fun.
and also a weird way that this Japanese author describes sex in a really weird way. It's hard for me to read at times. There's a lot of sex in that book too, but just like the way it's written is gross so much, and the way that the women are portrayed. Basically, most women, the main guy, if he never meets a woman that he doesn't have sex with,
So it's
and-
like Geralt or Geralt from The Witcher.
I mean he this is what's his name, Watanabe, just fuck Watanabe. I don't know how to pronounce Japanese, but Watanabe, that's the main character in this book. He
Mhm.
brings Geralt to shame. It's literally every woman he meets and talks to for more than 2 sentences, he bones. And it's kind of weird for me saying like, all right, all these women characters are basically like they're good characters, and then you just undermine them by just being like, oh yeah, they're just for sex, and in the end,
Oh, that's a
bummer.
shame.
But
Yeah,
it's
that's a bummer.
it's a really good book.
Okay.
Other than that, it's not. That's just a really nitpicky thing.
Okay.
But yeah, I love. That's
Is
gonna read more of his stuff.
that a translation or?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, because I was wondering
the guy is fluent in English, but
But
all
he
of his
writes in
English
Jap-
books seems to be in translations. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Interesting.
And then on a lighter side, I played Downwell.
What is Downwell?
It's on PC and iOS. I have no idea about Android, but it's a very, very arcadey style game where it's quick, you die quick, and it's kind of endless. It's endless, and it's very simple art style. All you do is fall down a hole,
Mhm.
and you have two. You can go left or right,
Mhm.
and you can jump, and you're
What's
just
it
trying
called?
Downwell.
Downwell.
And whenever you jump, you shoot bullets out of the bottom of your feet.
It is not. It is not on Android right now.
On Android.
Not on Android. Not on Android.
Okay. So it's just really fast, fun game. Where you should trying to constantly fall down, jump on enemies' heads, avoid enemies that are above you because you can't shoot above you,
Mhm.
and then jump. And so you only have a certain number of bullets while you're in the air, and every time you land on the ground, it replenishes.
Oh, okay. So it's like Spelunky's jetpack, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except for you're always falling,
It's the other way
trying
around.
to go down.
It's Spelunky's jetpack, but the opposite.
Yeah. And the only way to defend yourself is shooting while you're falling.
I see.
It's really fast because you are falling all the time, and there's different upgrades for your gun shoe things where it's like a laser. So every time you jump, there's just lasers throughout the entire rest of it, and then kind of just bullet heli kind of guns for your feet, and there's a lot of different visual treatments that are all really simple, really minimalist, and fantastic looking. Just two colors.
Just
Really
two
good game.
colors?
Hmm?
Just two colors?
It's black and red, or you can change it to, if you unlock stuff, it's like black and white, or
Ooh.
black and green, black and blue.
That is cool. That's very
It
cool.
looks really nice. Good game. It's like $3 on Steam and iOS, and my computer, my PC, it's completely died. Every time I do anything, it has a blue screen.
Yeah.
So I've given that to Ravenstorm, and in the meantime, I've just kind of resort for my games of just this. I bought this game on Steam and then realized it was not available on Mac, which is what my laptop is.
Right.
So then I had to buy it on my phone. So I spent $6 instead of just 3.
That's pretty cool.
But I'll be able to play it whenever my PC works, hopefully again.
It will. I promise.
Okay.
I promise.
You're my only hope, Ravenstorm.
On my honor,
Oh, man.
as a tech person, this is my greatest challenge. This is my Mount Doom.
Great. So your
Yeah.
Mountain Doom is most of my life. So
Good-
I'll
good
take
luck.
care of that.
No
I
pressure.
will.
No pressure.
I
I've
just
actually
gotta-
been enjoying not having a gaming PC with 2 screens and constantly connected.
It's even more minimalist now.
Yes, it really is, and it's been. That's why I read a book in 24 hours. I would have never done that if I didn't, if I had all the distractions of 2 screens and everything going on all the time.
You should take a break and just read books sometimes.
More deliberate.
Yeah.
Deliberate.
What you described your lifestyle as.
Yep.
Anything else you've been playing, doing, listening?
I've been more minimalizing.
Ooh.
Yeah, just getting rid of shit and choosing what I want to do specifically. I have like maybe 35 to 40 pieces of clothing total
Nice.
now, except for socks and underwear. That doesn't count.
Oh.
But yeah.
Wait. Oh, you got rid of clothing too.
Yes, I got rid of a ton of clothing. I barely own anything anymore. It's pretty nice.
Interesting. I mean, as a college student,
then-
I don't really have much in the first place. But...
I kind of want to try Soylent,
Oh. Yeah. I
even
guess
though I have parents that
make you
feed
food.
me.
I do too, and even though I live 100 miles away, my mother still manages to fill my fridge with food. So
That's adorable.
it's I almost feel really bad though because so much food.
Send it back up here with your friends that. Okay, we gotta tell a story because it was insane
Okay.
about the flash drive.
Yeah. Okay. So
Where I was telling James I was having computer issues. He says, you need to install a fresh new Windows 7. Do you have a flash drive of this size? I say no. He says, it's okay. I have a flash drive of this size and a new Windows 7 and a friend that is going to literally drive by your house and drop it off. It was just like, it was so perfect.
top
It's like,
tier.
it's a godsend of, I have problems. James, help. James is like, I got it, son. I'll deal with it. It was amazing.
I feel
Even though it
somewhat
didn't actually work out,
Yeah,
but it was
That's
great.
the only thing. Like I feel somewhat responsible for your ailments because like I'm like, hey, you should upgrade to Windows 7 or whatever, and it's like,
Yeah.
shit's broken. I'm like, oh.
Yep.
oops. So
You're like the person to create and solve most of my computer problems.
that's it. That's basically it. Yeah. So it's pretty cool though, not having your PC around. Oh, wow! That my mic wasn't registering. So it's pretty cool not having your PC around all the time.
I still heard you. You sounded
Oh.
the same.
Oh, whoops.
And yeah, it's just more deliberate and I'm getting more work done. Stuff like that.
It's very important to minimize distractions when you're trying. If you're trying to do anything besides participate in the distractions, you need to get rid of those. They will kill you.
And in my laptop, I have one tiny screen. It isn't super comfortable to use, so
It's true.
Mhm.
helps me do other things.
Nice.
I physically remove myself from my room to study these days. So.
Yep. It's there. I'm taking a course online called Learning How to Learn right now.
That's a very good skill to learn.
It is.
I
Actually,
feel like the
and
first thing they should teach you.
The thing is, I didn't get the material on their first lesson, and since it's just been confusing, I don't think I've learned how to learn yet. I think I need to go back.
You need to relearn how to learn.
Yeah, I need to relearn. Anyway, uh, a part of what I've learned. Uh,
Stop saying that word.
okay,
Losing all
part of
meaning.
what I've gleaned.
That's not it. What? Huh? That's not a word.
It is a
Gleaned?
word. A part of a small tidbit of knowledge that I have gleaned is that
Gross. Don't trust you. This is a word.
It is a word. It's like I've seen this. Yeah. I've witnessed this.
Sorry. Yeah.
My train of thought is derailed.
Extract
Something you learned.
information
Something
from
you learned about
various
learning.
sources.
Something you learned about learning, Ravenstorm.
Okay, something I learned about learning is that it's important not to. It's important to literally to focus. Multitasking is not something your brain is particularly good at, and
There are studies after studies showing that humans are not good at multitasking, even
Yep.
though everyone claims to be.
By the
Yep,
way,
yep.
by the way,
and if you can help it, just never. If something matters to you, don't multitask while you do it. It might seem like it's harmless, but it fundamentally decreases how much you get out of your learning.
this is what I don't get about lectures, because you're expected to pay attention to lecture while taking notes. And like while the two are related, I can't really focus on organizing how like the professor's writing. Like the professor writes shit on the board like in horizontally, and I have to convert that to a portrait format. And I know it sounds petty, but like at this point, I actually straight up just started rotating my notebooks 90 degrees and writing my notes horizontally, because that's how the professor writes their notes, writes their equations and stuff. Because the whiteboards are horizontal.
I mean, you don't need that if you could just go to a real lecture and listen and focus, and then. I mean, studies have also shown that writing material down helps you, but that's partially because having to recall something that you've just heard or something that you have just absorbed, it strengthens the neural pathways associated with that thought, and it actually really does increase your learning ability. It's just like mini tests or writing it down or somehow recalling that information, summoning it up so that it doesn't just get washed away real quickly.
Yeah, maybe the issue is that I just kind of try to copy things down from the whiteboard as opposed to like comprehending it and then writing it down. It's like I guess I could might as well just interject real quick that like the way I've been attending my physics lectures is that like I'll look up the board and then the professor will be like some very basic equation, F equals mass times acceleration, right? Force equals mass times acceleration. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I'll look away for like 2 seconds and then look back at the board and like it's a completely different language. And I'm like, what does this symbol look like? This looks like a freaking bunny
Greek,
ear.
that's a language.
It's Greek. It is Greek. That's true. But like, it's like, what is this? There's like bunny ears and like pi symbols, and they're not even using just pies. And what is this? And then it's just really funny, like spacing out for half a second in lecture, and then coming back to all this stuff on the board, and I'm like, where did this come from?
Oh damn!
But go on.
No, that's all.
Oh, that's
I'm
it.
not saying anything.
I don't have that issue with my field of study. I'm done with math already.
I envy you. I have.
Well, that's yeah.
I have 3 more math classes to attend, and they're going to be all incredibly difficult. Oh no, I have more. I just realized one of my upper division classes is called discrete math. Not looking forward to it.
That sounds.
Which spelling of discrete is it?
Yeah, it's like the professor's really quiet. He's like, okay, you can't tell anyone about this.
He only writes it in fucking lemon juice, and you have to turn off the lights with black light for it to read any of it. I might have accidentally said lemon juice, and I meant lemon juice.
Lemon
juice sounds gross.
Clarification.
Lemon juice sounds gross. I guess as far as what I've been up to a lot this week, by the way. So I'll start off small. first off, I've been playing a really brilliant game. I think it's going to be my game of the year. It's called Survive Mola Mola.
Fuck you.
uh, I've been playing it like actually a ridiculous amount for the past week because it's like it's the ultimate mobile game. I started playing it literally a week ago on this podcast. I downloaded it and installed it, and now I'm opening it again, and it's the most like mobile-y grindy game that you've ever seen. And literally the only appeal of the game is that it's based on Sunfish, and it's really weird.
And I think it's sort of, I like the game because it's meta, because it sort of acknowledges how mobile gameplay works and how like it's just sort of like poking fun at the thing that it is.
Yeah, because there's no
like
skill
that.
involved. It's 100% RNG and grind based. That's it. It's RNG and grind simulator.
So you mean it's distilling the game, those common game characteristics down of just the game fucking science. Everything is grinding and fucking random. It's just distilling that into the most perfect little game with no bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, the
Meta
bullshit is
commentary.
the bullshit is the really funny descriptions and things that your Sunfish goes through. But yes, other than that, it's just like really grindy and it does the thing where 3 more hours until you can do this, right? And honestly to me that helps me out because then that means I just like, well, I have nothing to do here. I'm just gonna put my phone away and pay attention to my calculus lecture.
Have you played it in class? Have you played Survive?
Hell yes,
Mola
I
Mola?
do. Hell yes, I do. I get weird looks from my classmates because they're seeing like a giant sunfish on my phone. But
Oh, don't brag. It's not that big.
excuse me, let me tell you about my sunfish. I have gotten to the Mola king size, and that is at 1,557.5 kilograms.
Nice.
It's really funny though because it turns angry, and then it has a little crown on its head. So yeah, it's just a really stupid distraction, but I kind of like it. Not gonna lie, just because I like the sun. Like I always liked the sunfish. I had like a stuffed Monterey Bay Aquarium, sunfish.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like it's not just the game. Another thing that I've been playing is this week Max got me he bought me Sublevel 0. Have you heard of this, Taylor?
Yep.
Oh, you have? You have? Okay. So for those who don't
Part
know,
of every video game, please.
okay. So it's like the most it's like throw every buzzword into a game possible, right? It's like pixel graphics, crafting, roguelike, stuff like that. And and also honestly, it turns out pretty well. I actually really like the game. It's a roguelike spacecraft simulator, and you're basically kind of dungeon crawling in a spaceship that you can control surprisingly well. Like I thought like my first few plays, I thought I'd start getting nauseous just because of the way like those kind of games handle. Because like the corridor, like the way the rooms are designed are really dumb because like you'll enter a room and then you'll be upside down and you have to reorient yourself to properly navigate the chambers and
Wait, so it's like zero gravity, right?
yeah, zero gravity.
The 3 axes of movement.
Or
Nice.
6 or whatever, yeah. I think that's what Max told me. But and you defeat enemies, you shoot them, and then sometimes they'll drop loot, and then you'll take that loot based on the stats, and then you'll upgrade that loot based on how much resources you have. You have to collect resources, make sure you don't run out of ammo, fight kind of little like bosses at the end, I think, and then like there's different types of enemies. It's all good stuff, and the game, unfortunately. The one pet peeve I have about it is that it takes a long time to start up, which is not fun for a roguelike because of like the one of like a big feature for roguelike, a big important feature for roguelikes for me is the ability to just, jump into a game really quickly.
Drop in, yeah.
Like Spelunky, I could boot up in like under 5 seconds. Like
Nice.
easily. Under 3's probably most times really. So this takes a little longer, but in fairness, the levels take a little longer to go through. And it does take a little bit more time to play, but it's still very fun, and I've been enjoying it.
Nice.
So yeah, that's what I've been playing. And then the regular plethora of Rocket League not Rocket League, sorry, Counter Strike
What?
and Spelunky. I've not played Rocket League yet.
Trying to get on my action.
Yeah, I will soon.
You're the one that's been telling us to do that.
Please do, please.
Hold on.
Well, you need to fix my PC first.
I will.
And then just
Don't worry.
put in your credit card information, and then buy Rocket League, and then give me back the PC, and we'll do it.
I might.
One moment,
Sure.
please. We're gonna pause the podcast real quick. Never mind. It's like there's like a weird thing with my recording software that buffers and it makes weird clicking sounds, but it can't be helped after an hour or so.
That's just a translation for the people in that African tribe that only use clicking sounds, so they can just listen to the podcast
Data
as
Break
well.
podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to do the podcast in that language. I think Kong is actually a good idea.
Let's do it. Let's all learn this obscure language so no one
Let's
can
learn.
see it online.
6 different clicks.
I mean, we could just learn Morse code.
just tap our mics.
Oh, that would be terrible. That would be the
Terrible.
worst podcast
How would you
ever.
know who's who?
Ever.
You fucking...
We have different
we-
mics. They have different.
we have
frequencies.
different like tone, like pitches.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, but what I have, like, other than the regular things I've been playing, I have been playing, like, I've been doing a lot of different things. So the first of which is that this week my tiny computer case came in. I don't know. I've been telling you guys about this already, but I've been trying to kind of make everything, like, this is an ongoing project of mine to make everything I have kind of a little bit smaller, kind of like in the line of minimalism that Taylor's talking about, but not quite.
Miniism.
Miniism.
When are you getting the breast reduction surgery?
I know my jugs are just too huge.
Well, you gotta make everything smaller, so.
Yeah. Oh god.
That's what the Soylent's for.
Yeah. I'll talk about that in a sec. But so I picked up a case. It's the Silverstone SG13. It's tiny. This thing is absolutely like minuscule. Like I've sent you guys pictures, but like it's hard to comprehend how tiny it is. This thing fits in my backpack, and my backpack isn't large. I think it's around 10 liters in volume, and
You say N liters?
10 liters. 10 liters. 10.
Oh, 10. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say it's like it's got variables.
N liters. Give me the function of this computer case as I've been doing too much math today. It's just not good. But anyway, so like it's really tiny, and unfortunately there is a couple trade-offs. One is that you could probably hear it is I don't have room for a sound card, so I have to get an external one, and I'll have to get that fixed. I'll have to get that addressed eventually. And the second one is heat. And basically my computer gets just ridiculously hot now. It used to be pretty cool. It used to run really cool, and it'd get a little warm if I was playing like Battlefield 4 for 3 hours.
Well, you had that giant CPU cooler.
I had that giant CPU cooler and like 7 fans. It was no joking matter to the cooling I had in my system. I have reduced those 7 fans to 1 fan in the front.
Okay, good. Is it 200 millimeter?
It is a 120 millimeter.
Oh.
Dinky little thing.
Oh.
It doesn't even push a lot of air. It's not very efficient. It lights up though, which is cool. But my computer gets up to it's like a freaking hurricane in here sometimes when I'm gaming. It gets really loud. Hopefully, I'm not doing anything extensive right now, but if I like boot something like Counter Strike or Battlefield up, it'll start going. So
is there room to improve as far as that goes? Because I mean, you'd need like a discrete little flat CPU cooler if it could even fit.
I'm using the stock Intel cooler right now, which I thought was pretty good, but I've learned that it's actually really freaking loud. And my power supply is also really big. It's actually so big that I wasn't able to fit my hard drive in there. I had to like unsecure it, and like it's kind of just dangling in my PC. Not really dangling, it's just like standing, and it's like kind of held up because there's so many cables that are just around it. It kind of secures itself
Nice.
because it's so densely packed in there. There's no room
Damn.
to move, and it just gets really hot. And also the hard drive blocks airflow, so that's not a good thing.
This just sounds like you're gonna need to order some more custom cables in like tiny lengths.
I'm
So you
I'm
can-
actually going to flat out replace my power supply. I have a really
Okay.
big power. It's like 775 watts. It's huge. It's like way too much power for what
Yeah.
I'm doing. I have one graphics
Yeah.
card, quad core CPU. It doesn't need much. So I'm gonna get a smaller power supply, and it's gonna run a lot cooler and quieter. And then I'm gonna get a more efficient CPU cooler. I was originally thinking of going for a liquid cooler to mount to the side, because those liquid coolers don't take up a lot of space. Like it's only the fan and the radiator.
Yep,
Right?
it's I'm pretty sure it's about the same size as you mount it in a normal fan mount.
Yeah. You mount it in a normal fan mount. It's like it's just the size of like two fans stacked together. It's not that, and that's like, and then the CPU block is like tiny. So it's not a huge issue. The issue is because I'm planning on literally throwing this into my backpack, not throwing it, but like putting it into my backpack and lugging it around. I don't want to risk fluids leaking and things like that.
Do you know, I think what you should do is you should get a designated bag for this thing. Or you should make some sort of carry apparatus so that it's not so you don't have to consider things like this. So it's a little bit safer. You
Well-
have the peace of mind because honestly, I do a lot with my computer, and I don't think I would trust myself to just like put it in my backpack, like cooler or no cooler. That just seems a dangerous situation.
Yeah. No, I'm probably gonna get like a carrying handle and like maybe a sleeve or something for it.
Get a little rolling backpack.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I don't, because I mean, like bag or no bag, it's just like the idea of it kind of like rotating a ton of different directions all the time. It just doesn't seem, it's very tumultuous, and it doesn't seem very good for the cooling. So I think I'm gonna opt for like just heat sink and efficient fans, and hopefully that will be better. So
I
yeah,
hope so.
yeah. So that's my experiment in small form factor computing. It's really successful so far though. So I'm really happy with how tiny the computer is. So I would call it a success for now, but a tentative success because I'm going to change that. Another effort I'm making in smallifying everything is I ordered a new phone.
Distinguishing your version from my version.
Yeah.
I see.
It's smallism.
Smallism. So I in amidst like everyone buying like a giant phone, right? Like
Minimizing.
minimalism.
It's smallificationism.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Wow, you just gotta just put all the suffixes on there.
I call it minification. So
Minification.
That sounds like a good solid title for it.
yeah, that's what I've got for my article that I'll be doing a write-up of all this, by the way.
Nice.
Everyone's like buying like these huge ass giant. Have you seen those phones like the Galaxy Notes that are just like, it's like a giant tablet in your hand,
Well,
and then they
I mean,
somehow
it is
fit
a
in your pocket.
tablet.
Yeah, like.
To be honest, here's the thing here's the reason I think big phones work, because for most of the things I do on my phone, I sort of want it to be larger. I think that if we're going for phone, I'd like something more like the size of an iPod Touch, but if we're going for a
Mobile computing
mobile
device?
computer,
Yeah.
then I want something larger. That's the allure in my perspective, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, I understand that, but like for me, like I mean, I'll guess I'll take cues from Taylor's minimalism. I don't, as much as I love playing Survive Mola Mola, I don't really want to be staring at my phone all day. So I kind of want to like keep the size.
How are you
small.
gonna survive, Mola Mola, if you don't have your phone in front of you all the time?
I know. What if I lose all my progress in Survive Mola Mola when I change phones? And like I have a Nexus 4, and it's like the size of the iPhone 6.
It's already sort of small.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Nexus 4 named for the 4-inch screen, right?
4.7, but yes.
Oh, 4.7. Okay.
Yeah, and I think the iPhone's somewhere around that size as well. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Taylor, you have an iPhone 6. How do you like? Cause I know you owned an iPhone 4.
I had a 4 before this. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, how do you like the change going bigger?
It's something you just gotta get used to, but once you do, it's impossible to go any smaller.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if I'm resisting. I'm continuing to resist the big phone. So
Longer is a lot better for reading things.
Mm.
The immediate thing that I liked with this.
Okay. Yeah.
And then for games, doesn't make a difference. I guess most games are probably now designed with the longer phones in mind.
In retrospect, would you go for the iPhone like 6 Plus?
No, I mean I'm sure once I get that, I'll just get used to it being bigger and then couldn't go back. But I'm happy with the size the phone is right now.
This is the beauty of being in the Apple ecosystem. You just accept it and then
You like to talk down to the Apple ecosystem.
No.
don't
This
you?
is no. This is not. This is
I
not
mean,
like.
this works in my minimalism. I have two choices.
This is no. This is the. This is.
And it works.
I think this is actually a benefit. Ow! I just dropped my phone. This is actually a benefit of the Apple ecosystem because the lack I don't the choices I have for Android phones is like what compromises are you what deal breakers or do you have and what compromises are you going to deal with. Where you're in the Apple system, you don't have to worry about that. It's all there for you, and you don't. I mean, choice. You don't have a choice, but it's a good choice regardless. Because I've seen the iPhone 6. It's a nice phone.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So going on with with my minification is that I'm getting a new phone soon because my phone has a terrible issue where as it runs out of battery, which the battery does not last long, by the way, it begins to just spaz out and do whatever the fuck it wants, like wherever it wants. Earlier today, I was running out of battery. I was at like 24%, and then my phone basically opened up 3 apps, turned on Bluetooth, turned on my flashlight, and then typed something weird into my keyboard or something and tried to text somebody something like just random phrases from autocorrect.
Siri, have a stroke.
Basically, yeah. So
I'm gonna try that. Give me a second.
My phone's on. Okay.
Siri, have a stroke.
I'm not sure I understand.
Oh, fine.
Wait, she's having a stroke.
I don't understand. Funny if it was all gibberish what she came back with. You okay?
Yeah.
Oh no.
So yeah. I ordered a Sony Z5 Compact. So it's like 4.6 inches, about the same size, if not smaller than my current Nexus 4, and it'll be a nice upgrade. I'll let you guys know how that goes. Just having a small phone in an age of large phones, because small phones are hard to find these days. And then the last thing I wanted to save the best for last was my my foray into Soylent. So
Ooh.
yeah.
How small is your Soylent?
I actually ordered one of the larger blender bottles to store my Soylent in.
Wow.
So
Traitor to your cause.
I probably could have gone smaller, but in case I want to go a full day with okay, so on Friday I got the ingredients in. My brother dropped by and he actually had all the ingredients laid out for me. And I don't know, did I text you guys pictures of the Soylent yet? I don't know. Have
Nope.
you? Okay. I'll just show you guys later because it's basically tons of bags of powder of varying colors. Well, it's like white, brown, tan, right? And it's like a lot, and the bags of white have chemical names on them, like calcium, whatever, chloride,
Cocaine.
whatever. Yeah, no, that's the thing, right? And then I even have like a pocket scale. I bought a pocket scale to measure to do the measurements properly. So basically, the scale that drug dealers use to measure the drugs that they are dealing. Not that I would know.
Right, not that you would know. I think there are more uses for a pocket scale than just drugs, though.
Sure, for sure, but not
like
only,
measuring how much your pocket weighs.
Yeah, But terrible, terrible,
See if I dropped any of it.
terrible. But it's just like, and then but now like I sent, it's just, you know, piles of white powder on a scale that I'm I'm going to mix together into a concoction, and that is going to replace my
Concoction.
yeah. It looks very
Cocaine.
sketchy. It looks very sketchy to say the least, because like you have to have, like, the ingredients are weirdly named because it's like raw ingredients.
That's just you being self-conscious, though. You've had issues with your roommates going,
Oh, I don't care. As a matter of fact, it's kind of funny
Yeah.
to observe, really.
You gotta live it up. Just gotta bring out put a credit card next to it, so whenever someone walks by, they get really suspicious.
Yeah, exactly. Rolls of dollar bills, stuff like that. So,
Your trays, but just put it on a mirror on a tray.
yeah. So
Perfect.
that's I mean, it's already on like the scale, so it's got
I'd be
integrated.
I'd be
plastic
very
tray.
disappointed if someone was like, "Dude, drugs," and then I was like, "Today I'm willing to try drugs," and then I try the drugs, and it's like whey. And I have a nose full of whey, and that just
Drugs
sounds
are
like
500 calories and are very affordable.
So
I just
Sure.
do this drugs two more times today, and I'll be okay.
so my
all
edible,
the vitamins you'll need for today.
It's true. It is true. So I actually put this to practice today. So this morning, so last night I cooked up a batch, and well, all I did was I just measured out the powder, put it in my blender bottle, mixed it up, and threw it in the fridge overnight. You don't have to put it in overnight. You can do it the morning of. It doesn't matter.
Just to marry the various like artificial flavors.
Right. Well, it's just to keep it cool, really.
So you can get the crystals just right, and then you can sell them to the grade school kids.
So we're talking about rock candy, of course. I for this morning I woke up, had like some jelly drink that I had in the fridge, and I drank that, and then I had my Soylent, and that was all I ate today. That's all I had today. It is
One.
So I woke up at 10 a.m. and I drank the jelly drink at 11 a.m. And then I had the Soylent throughout the day. It is now 10 p.m. and only now am I starting to feel kind of hungry. I could use a meal. If I eat a banana, I could probably be fine and just go to bed with that.
Nice.
So
How many
and
calories is that?
2,000 calories.
Damn.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it either. Depending on how much water you put in, it could be pretty, liquidy, pretty viscous, or less viscous. Less viscous is the more watery texture.
Is it? I know that I struggle with the ratio because I use whey protein just to fill myself up sometimes.
Sure.
And I personally like to drink it more concentrated because
More
that means
thick?
then I have less to drink.
That's
Is Soylent dreadful enough to warrant that sort of wariness?
So as far as taste goes, the main ingredient is masa harina, which is a corn-based like powder, I guess, right? It's like kind of corn flour, basically, kind of. Is that how you describe it?
Yeah.
Ravenstorm? Yeah, kind of.
I'd describe it as like just little. It's like crushed corn. It's not quite flour. It's like really coarse flour. Sort of.
Yeah. So the result of that is that you're like the name of the recipe is like tortilla delight or whatever, right? And it really tastes like you're just drinking liquefied corn tortillas.
Nice.
It's not good. It's not
It sounds really weird.
It's not unpleasant. It is like it's everything you would think Soylent should taste like, really, honestly, because it's.
My favorite reference for the word Soylent is from the movie Soylent Green, where they
Yeah.
dead people. So that's not a good point of reference.
Okay, so well, in terms of an unoffensive meal replacement, I think it's exactly what it should taste like. Very, very unoffensive, very not.
Meal replacement.
Yeah, it's like it feels like we're eating rations, or rations, or whatever they call it.
Rations. We don't call them rations.
Rations. Rations are for people who are.
Rations are for racists.
Yeah, they're politically incorrect rations. For black people, rations for blacks.
What?
Oh.
And the Irish.
Yellow. It's the Soylent is yellow. For those who don't know. And I added enough water so it's kind of got the consistency of a somewhat more watery milkshake. That's basically what I would describe it as, and that's all I had today. I'll probably eat something tonight anyway, just because I have food and I'm kind of hungry.
2,000 calories is a lot. I know that's supposed to be like the average, but I don't eat like 2,000 calories a day.
Honestly, like I think if I'm active enough, I'll probably get to the point where I'm going to have Soylent just as a single meal to fill me up in the middle of the day. And honestly, that's one of my purposes. It's going to just like supplement my existing meal plan.
Right.
As opposed to just replacing it. I was just trying one day just Soylent, and it's fine, honestly. Some people can handle it. I feel like if there's anyone who can handle not really eating, it'd be me. So it depends on the person. And I thought it was fine. I had my friend taste it, and he kind of really rolled at it. So
I would so try it.
What brand, dude? Is it just Soylent?
No, this is 100% DIY, which is why I had all the weird different powders.
Can you send me a small packet of Soylent?
Yeah, this is something I want to try, but don't want to invest in.
I think I could put all the necessary powders and ingredients into a Ziploc bag, and then when next time I come by, I'll give it to you guys. And then
Why did you decide to go with the DIY versus plenty of brands?
the Soylent, the official Soylent is, I think it's either back ordered. Well, I think it is back ordered. I could check right now, but it's also very expensive.
$29 a month.
But that's 12 bottles. Oh, yeah.
What was this?
But that's like 400 calories. That's only 400 calories, though. Really, like that's
That's what I would use it for, is a supplement.
Yeah.
If I don't spend money, I'm at school between classes, I'll drink this. Mine's a little bit, it's a bit more in bulk, and it is a little bit more expensive, but it's a lot more Soylent for your money. So it's just like a cost thing, really. Because like $30 for 12 bottles, that's like a lot of money. That's $2.42 for 400 calories.
For 400 calories, yeah. So
Pretty good.
depends on what you're trying to get
Not
at.
as cheap. Yours is cheaper though, right?
Mine is cheaper. I'll look it up right now. Going to the DIY tool.
I think that if I were to invest in this, I would probably go the DIY route, because it seems to me like if I'm going to have it, I might as well have, as much of it as I can get for the price. That's part of the point. And I don't know, I just feel like buying Soylent is sort of not the point, or it sort of takes away from it.
And actually, I might have miscalculated. I think what I had was a lot less than 2,000 calories, because I don't remember putting this much of the ingredient in each. So I think I was having a little bit less, which is why I might be hungry. Anyways, it's $3.50 per day of food. And that's 2,000 calories. $2.50 for 2,000 calories. So
Really good.
That's, the ratio is a lot better.
Yeah, I could do that. Just how long does it last? If you just make it in there, put it in the fridge, can I just
This stuff is like,
drink it throughout the week?
ooh,
I'm sure it's
yeah, it'd probably be okay, because the ingredients themselves aren't really that prone to spoiling. It's all powder and like dry corn, so like what's gonna happen, right? The one thing, it's so cool too, because you can look on the recipe that like there's variants, and like you could tweak it to however way you want, because a lot of people pointed out different deficiencies in it. Like there's some people were pointing out you're missing iron, and there's people that they tweak it accordingly, so it's really cool. So
Taking supplements is always an option too. I take a multivitamin and a couple of supplements, and that's actually really helped. Just like, because I don't eat a lot. I really don't eat a lot. I live a fairly sedentary lifestyle, and I probably eat well below 1,700 a day.
yeah, so so much, then it's not a big deal, right? So,
Right.
that's another, and yeah, that's, you know, just to like fill you up for a meal or something, and yeah, so like people find out different efficiencies, so they kind of tweak it, and that's another reason why I went DIY, is so that I could, you know, add certain ingredients if I feel the need for it. Like I could probably even like throw a banana into my Soylent and make it taste sweet.
Nice.
Or, you know, chocolate to make it taste, you know, chocolatey, stuff like that.
And I like having it done for me.
Yeah.
I think that's my iOS mindset.
Well, I mean, that's,
I don't have to worry about choices or anything.
yeah, that's not as bad. It's just, it's a lot of time, and that's
The whole point of this is
like,
that you can
yeah, the whole point is that it's convenient and quick, so it's good. So far it's so good.
Monday.
I might try it tomorrow as well. We'll see how it goes. I might have a larger portion too, because I have a long day tomorrow, so we'll see. I think that's it in terms of far as what I've been checking out. I mean, I can tell you guys about polar coordinates, and I'm only going to been studying, but
Oh.
so yeah, I think it's about time we head out. So thank you for listening. This week's intro always brought to you by Grant Webster. His SoundCloud link is in the video description. Our Habits and Max's YouTube link is in the video description.
When are you going to be back?
At the end of after October, so November. A couple more weeks. Counting down the days, man.
He takes Halloween very seriously. He needs a whole month to prepare.
Yeah, exactly. So, on behalf of Taylor, Ravenstorm, and myself, we'll see you next time. Oh, thank you for listening.